Welcome. I'd like to call this public hearing to order. Roll call, please.
Dr. Rothchild, Mr. Sean McAndrew,
Present.
Mr. Mark McAndrew,
Present.
Mr. Flynn,
Here.
Mr. Schuster.
Present.
The purpose of said public hearing is to hear testimony and discuss the following. Resolution number 25, 2026, accepting the recommendation of the Historic Architectural Review Board and denying the certificate of appropriateness for Fidelity Bank, 101 North Blakely Street, Dunmore, Pennsylvania, 18512, for demolition of the Matters Law Office Building at 324 North Washington Avenue, Scranton, Pennsylvania, 18503.
All right, so we'll start with some speakers tonight. Our first speaker on our list for the public hearing is Joan Hodowanitz.
Joan Hodowanitz, Scranton. I support Fidelity Bank's request to demolish the building at 324 North Washington to provide additional parking space for its employees. In my opinion, for what it's worth, the HARB board is being penny-wise and pound-foolish. It states that the bank's proposed demolition and increased parking would have a negative effect on the downtown historic district and the North Washington corridor. I say Fidelity's relocation of its headquarters to downtown Scranton will have a positive impact on the city's tax revenues. So consider the following. Fidelity Bank is investing $27 million in its renovation of the Electric City building. It will have a total of 165 employees working in downtown Scranton. And the city will receive the following taxes. Property taxes on a major renovated building. And that's got to be a pretty amount of change, that alone. Then there's the payroll preparation taxes for 165 employees. Wage taxes from those employees. Emergency service tax for those employees. How does this compare with, let's say, the University of Scranton's annual payment in lieu of taxes? I have a feeling Fidelity is going to come out at the higher end. The building in question that they want to demolish is very small. What, 18 to 20 feet wide? How can such a narrow structure be marketed in the future? It can't. It's not really got any logical reason for anybody to invest there. Reuther and Bowen has shown that the building cannot be repaired economically. It would have to be torn down. It's a major safety hazard to the general public passing in front of it. And it's home for various 2- and 4-footed pests. And you can fill in the blanks. The HARB board argues that there is available parking across the street. Yes, there is. But perhaps the question we should ask is, why are the city garages so underutilized? Is it because private parking lots are so less costly, so much of a bargain for people parking daily in the downtown, especially people who work there? HARB points out the negative impact on walkability and streetscape continuity. Really, would it be better to let the Electric City building rot unoccupied? I think that a vibrant bank headquarters will attract more street-level activity, not less. But then what do I know? I'm only a taxpayer.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dan Santinello.
Council members, I first want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity to come before you to discuss the Madison Mattis building on 324. North Washington. I believe you folks were provided some documents in advance. One was the memo that refers to 324 being a dangerous building for the city of Scranton. The second was the condemnation, and then the structural engineering report that was recently done. And if you have any questions regarding the structural engineering report, Mark Bowen is here specifically if you have questions on that. But really just want to talk a little bit how we got to where we are today, and I'm sure you gentlemen have a lot of knowledge in how we have gotten here. But we purchased the Scranton Electric building back in 2022 with the purpose of moving our headquarters from Dunmore, where we've been for 124 years, down to the city of Scranton. And we speaking on behalf of management and the board of directors, believe investing in the city of Scranton is very important because it is a lifeline of this region, right? As good as Scranton does, the region does, right? And so we're making a commitment to bring 165, maybe 175 bankers to the Scranton Electric building. And so we're making a significant investment, and I think Joni did a great job of describing our investment. And we never had the intention of purchasing 324 North Washington Avenue. We were actually allowing our bankers to park behind the Scranton Electric building, and one day the facade fell off, right? And fell onto our bankers' cars, right? And so we found out later on that the building was being foreclosed on, right? So taxes weren't being paid for over 20 years. And so we felt with the investment we were making in the city of Scranton, and, again, partnering with all of the public officials, wanting to see the best for the city of Scranton, we said, hey, let's purchase this building and make it incorporate into our renovations. Again, not providing, it's going to provide a few additional parking spaces, but really the important part of that is it cleans up that block. And along the North Washington streetscape, we are also going to be investing money. I don't know if you're familiar with what it looks like today. There's pillars and fencing. Our plan is to completely replace that and renovate that as well. And we'll bring that right up along adjacent to Abe's building. Again, I think we've shown a propensity to do what's right for the city of Scranton. I think Fidelity's been one of the biggest investors and one of the biggest believers in the city of Scranton, in the future of this. If you look at what we've done in Greenridge, our new building in Greenridge, our new building in West Scranton, we've made significant investments into the city of Scranton. And the reason why I say that is because, trust me, we're going to do what's right for the city of Scranton at the end of the day, as we have all along. And all we're asking you to do is let us demolish that building. Clearly, it is in need to be demolished. And you'll hear from Renato from Abe's. I mean, clearly, it's an issue for him as well. And again, I just in closing would say to you again, thank you for allowing us this opportunity to get in front of you today, and pleading our case as to why that needs to come down. Certainly, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah, at this point, my question is about parking. If this building was to be demoed, do you have any plans for parking that have been?
Yeah.
What is your plans for that parking lot in the future?
Yeah. So right now we have the parking behind Abe's, and we have all the parking adjacent up behind the Scranton Electric building up to the property on 324 North Washington. So we're going to be demoing that building and bringing much of that land down to the level that the surface is behind the Scranton Electric building. So it'll be subsurface with the street. Again, it allows us to get additional, I'm going to say maybe 8 parking spots. It's not a big deal, but what it does is cleans that up.
Okay. Is there any plans to put like a structure? Again, if this was to be demoed, is there any plans to put a structure, a roof over it, any multiple floor parking?
There's going to be no structure on that. No, there's no plans to put any structure.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions?
Okay, well, again, thank you.
Thank you. Next is Renato Longo.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Renato Luongo. I own Abe's Deli, 326 North Washington Avenue. I'm here tonight for a few concerns I have. I'm not going to take up much of your time. In the mornings, I come pretty early. I open my restaurant at 6:30, so I'm here by 5:45, 6 o'clock. The building that's in question, there's holes in the back that can fit people in there. I've seen people coming in and out of there first thing in the morning. How I know this is because what turned me on to this was my dumpster is being raided every night. Unfortunately, the people unfortunately have to eat, and they're going in there. And I see all the garbage in the back of that building, which I clean up almost every day. I'm worried about a fire. Maybe they're going to want to keep warm at some point. I'm attached to that building. I'm concerned about that. I invested a lot of money into the front of my business from the minute I purchased the property. I refaced it, I put lights, I put awnings, I fixed the sidewalks. I did whatever I could to try to make the downtown better and look nicer, attract people. This building that's next to me is literally falling apart. And try to take care of it in the snow. It was neglected. It's just a lot to do. Trying to run your own business is hard enough, never mind try to take care of something else that's not even yours. I really don't have much else to say besides that, but it's a pretty big concern, and I hope you guys take that in consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to address council?
So is it Tyler or Thom? Sorry.
Thom.
Thom. Okay. My name is Thom Murphy. I am a 1999 graduate of Dunmore High School. My mom actually worked at the Fidelity Bank, and my wife and I, Heather, and I went to Abe's Deli today for lunch. I graduated from Dunmore as valedictorian, but I went to the Air Force Academy in 2003. And I'm currently a Southern Baptist theological seminarian running for the U.S. Senate in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. I come before you today, first of all, just to thank you for the opportunity to have American justice on full display. To most people outside of this area, the best video that they have of these meetings is Ray Lyman. You all know Ray Lyman from over the years.
Yeah. Sorry, excuse me. Are you here to speak about the Matts & Matts building at 324 North Washington Ave?
No, I'm not. But
sorry, it is a here. I thought you were asking if you wanted to speak on this issue.
Oh, no, I just was coming. I signed up to be a speaker. Like, would you like me to speak later?
Yeah, it'll be at our 6:30 meeting.
Okay. 6:30.
6:30.
Okay, I was told 5:30. But I agree. That'd be a great acquisition for Fidelity. And I think the issues that, sorry, what was your first name again? Brian? Renato is experiencing is directly connected to the things that Tyler will have for you to say. Okay? I want to address some of that because one of the things of my campaign is going to be establishing 3 points to basically fix that, not only in Louisville, but the other commonwealths in our nation. So,
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to speak on 324 North Washington? Please come up.
Councilman, Council Lady, gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here. It's been a little while. My name is Alex J. Hazuri, and I am the president and CEO of Friendship House and the Advocacy Alliance. Friendship House, as many of you might know, located in downtown Scranton on November 1st of 2024. So I speak from some experience of what development can do for downtown Scranton, and another person who absolutely loves the city of Scranton. Friendship House purchased the property, which many of us know as the Schreiber's building, and then formerly the Davidow building. We combined them into one. We have a total investment there of $10.6 million, and we brought 65 employees to downtown Scranton. We have a parking lot across the street with 35 spaces, and we rent about 40 spaces from the Ferrario brothers on the corner of Linden and Wyoming. We're able to see firsthand what it's done for Friendship House to make these services available in downtown, to the point where we're now planning. We developed the Schreiber's building and the second floor of the Davidow building, and now we have plans to renovate the first floor of the Davidow building, so it'll be totally complete. That's about another 8,500 square feet. And as I think it was Ms. Hadanowitz, correct? Yep, who talked about what it does for downtown Scranton. I know those 65 people that we have downtown, plus all the folks we serve. I can walk by Downtown Deli, by Abe's, by the Pizza Parlor, Da Vinci, Scanlon's on any day, and I'll see 5 to 12 of our staff grabbing takeout or sitting down having lunch, or Northern Light or anywhere else. So I know what it can do for downtown Scranton. I know the benefit that it provides, and we're so happy to be downtown Scranton, and I hope that you look favorably on allowing Fidelity to demolish this building so they can share all the wonderful successes that we've been able to share.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Good to see everyone.
You too. That's all for our list of speakers tonight. Yep.
Good evening. My name is Thom Welby, a Scranton resident, and I work and enjoy downtown to a great degree, and what Fidelity is doing to our downtown. First, years ago, volunteering to keep that Electric City light going when it was off, it was down, and they improved it and made it a beautiful sign, and that was on their own time, their own dime, and now for them to step up and grow as they are, not only in downtown and helping to grow and beautify our downtown and improve our downtown, continuing to make investments in their Dunmore properties and contributing to the beauty in Dunmore as well. They didn't abandon anything. They're continuing to grow and continuing to improve our community, and I'm a little disappointed that they're running into some roadblocks that are unnecessary, in my opinion. I don't like to get in the way of any other organization, but with all due respect, I don't know if council needs to have a conversation with HARB or what it is. Some of the issues and conversations that they have had with developers downtown just totally escape me. And one was back in the fall when a developer was fixing up or came in before them to talk about changing part of the facade, improving the facade, replacing the facade on a building that's in the first block of Wyoming Avenue at the corner of the alley there. And they were talking to the HARB group about replacing bricks that had fallen. And HARB insisted that they delay the work on it until they came in with samples of the bricks. And he explained to them at the time, and it still exists on ECTV, that they are the same bricks as will be in the wall right now. And they said, well, that's not good enough. We want to see them right here. And these kinds of delays lead to tens of thousands of dollars, if not more, in delay in construction. It was a time when, before the winter season, this work had to be done. Well, it wasn't done. And now, with all due respect, I mean, I don't know perhaps some of the reasons they use, but I have some common sense, and this is a project that needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. We have the hazard that exists there, as well as it being a place where undesirables are clearly spending time in there on their own time and sneaking into the building, getting into the building without any issues. And we had an opportunity to have a stop put to it, and it's been delayed again. And I appreciate all of the work that Fidelity is doing, and I appreciate all of the time and work that you all put in making our community better. But I'm here for something else, a caucus coming up, but I just had to open my mouth, and thank you.
Thank you. That exhausts our list of speakers tonight. If there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, this public hearing is adjourned. All right, we'll get started with our public caucus tonight. We have a lot of guests here. We have Chief Thom Carroll from the Scranton Police Department. We have Sherry Frable, our Director of OECD. Chanel Kearse, Community Outreach Coordinator. Rachel Saxena, the Public Health Coordinator for the city. Caleb Bakalyar, our Assistant, did I say it correctly? Our Assistant City Planner. We have Alisia Nichols from Social Contract, Nick Jenner from Social Contract, Amy Hopkins from Social Contract. We have James Hazen from Lackawanna County, Elizabeth Hemphill from the Scranton School District, and we also have Commissioner Thom Welby. So if we could, there are only 4 microphones here, so only one person can talk at a time. Please press the button. The green light will go on when you can talk, and if you're not speaking, if you could just turn that off so there's no feedback. And we'll get started with our public caucus tonight.
Great. Good evening, council members. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us tonight. We really appreciate the opportunity to provide brief updates on the Community Violence Intervention and Prevention Project. My name is Alicia Nichols. I'm the head of consulting services with Social Contract, the firm that has provided support to this effort. And we are joined here tonight with members of our team, as well as members of our advisory board who've provided strategic direction since the beginning of the project, as well as several community stakeholders in the audience here who were actively engaged throughout the process. Before we jump into provide an overview of the project, we did want to have our champions provide some background information on the origins of the work, and then also hear remarks from Commissioner Welby. So I will turn it over to Chief Carroll.
Hello, can you hear me? All right, excellent. Thank you for having us. I'm going to be brief. I'm going to set the stage as to why we are here. And this begins well before me. However, we have a realization in 2022 with violence in the city, especially juvenile violence as it was related to. If you remember, a young man was stabbed outside of Scranton High School at the conclusion of school one day, right? That is the point where it is, we knew it was coming. It was imminent. We could see the crime building. And no matter how we address the crime, we make the arrests, it is very clear that the police department could not arrest its way out of it. This problem was much bigger than us. This is a community-based problem. Something is dysfunctional. It's not working. Why do kids especially find violence so appealing? Where is that structure in their lives to redirect them? And we started reaching out. And with all the stakeholders that are present, I have a very good working relationship with. We started with the school district, with the county, all the departments within the county, and we weren't getting the satisfaction or the traction that we needed. The answers were eluding us, and that's the way it felt. Because what did everybody else say is, Chief, what are you doing about this? What's the police department doing about our violence? Well, we respond to violence. We cannot predict human behavior, and that's where society raises its children. Outside of the realm of the police department, I will tell you that I'm a huge supporter of this effort, any effort to curb violence. And this one in particular rises out of that need. The mayor had formed a youth engagement council shortly after that young man's death. And all the stakeholders came to the table. And what we're realizing is that we have a whole lot of people in our community that believe, and they're from different organizations. The gap in these services or the oversight is who has oversight, or at least a view from above to say, we need more of this service, we need less of this service, or where our needs have changed in our community and we need to address that. It is not the function of city government to do so, in my opinion, and that's the direction we are headed, you'll hear today. And when we're together with all of these stakeholders, it was apparent that we needed some type of guidance to keep us unified and focusing our efforts. That is where we are today. And that's what we sought, and we have our contract, social contract, to help us through this process and how do we navigate it. I'm not going to steal everybody's thunder, but I will tell you that that's the need-based. We now have a community-based solution, which we believe will be very fruitful. This takes time. It's never been done before. It is not black and white. Scranton is not different than any other city in America. These problems are shared amongst every community, but what's unique about Scranton is we're united, and we've come together. We think we have a pretty good solution, and in the future, we'll be able to see how we leverage all of our services and how successful we will be. That'll end my remarks. Thank you.
So Chief Carroll, at this point in time, we have some individuals from the city that work directly with social contract. Is that my understanding? And then we have some community partners that also work directly with social contract?
That's correct. We will run our plan through. I'm going to turn it over to OECD, and we will, you'll see the plan build, and then we'll be able to demonstrate where we've come from when we started this to where we are now and where we're going to head to the future.
Okay. Now, they're working directly with the police department, though?
Yes, you'll see our stakeholders that are present. We have met quite often to go over our plan and to sharpen our plan. Not only our stakeholders, this is a small group that represents, I don't know what our numbers went up to.
This is the advisory board, basically, that's sitting around this table, and then in the audience, we have some members of the planning committee. So we had over 40 stakeholders that were involved in the planning committee.
That helps steer the direction. But again, I will gladly answer questions. I don't want to steal thunder or erode what other people might be saying. We'll let this continue.
So, yeah, Chief talked about the why. The how is, how do we get to this place and how do we fund it? And so ARPA funds were dedicated nationally, right? There's $350 billion that were dedicated to community violence intervention. And so from our allocation from the city, we were able to institute first this advisory board that could meet on a biweekly basis. For the last year we've been doing this. And then we were able to also, work on these next steps that are going to take us to a sustainable future with our ARPA funds. And I'll pass it over to Commissioner Welby.
Thank you. And of course, here on behalf of Commissioner Gahan and Commissioner Chermak, but also with James Hazen from Economic and Community Development, we're not only representing the county administration and community economic development, but the county as a whole, including our 911 team, our EMS team, and everyone that's involved with it. And we're here with the city of Scranton, which is, you all are instituting this project and will help it to grow and become what we hope it will be in the future. But it's not just a Scranton problem. I mean, we know that this is a problem not just in Scranton and Lackawanna County, Northeast PA. It's a problem that has spread itself around the country. And it's important that all of us, as concerned stakeholders, as people that care about getting involved and we in the county, in the beginning, I was, maybe I say I was the proverbial, I was the doubting Thomas. And I have come to believe in the things that they are doing and the things that they are planning. And I'm reminded sometimes that I don't know what I don't know. And some of the things that they've done in the studies and the outreach that they have done in neighborhoods and communities with school people, the school districts, with teachers, with everyone, it's amazing some of the information that they've put together to help us formulate a plan that can, as Chief said, they react to, and to help formulate a plan that can help circumvent what we've seen happen just all too often in the last few years. And the county's proud to be a part of it, and we look forward to participating in any way that we can that's going to make for a safer community for all of us.
So I don't want to repeat everything that you've already heard. I just wanted to impress upon everybody in this room and watching just the amount of thought and care that went into this program, the collaboration between the county and the city, but also with our stakeholders, input from the school districts and Chief Carroll and the police department, and having social contract really guide this ship. It really came from a place where we saw a need that needed to be met, and some of us were a little skeptical in the beginning, and we're at a point now where we think that a plan has been put together that is going to address these concerns, and that we should see some pretty positive outcomes from it.
All right, thank you. So we had an opportunity to hear about the why, the how, and we want to spend some time today talking about the what's been accomplished over the last year and a half. But before we jump into that, we do want to acknowledge the individuals who have invested their work, those who have championed this effort, and those who have shaped the plan. So you can see here on the screen stakeholders that have been intimately involved throughout the process. Again, many of them in the audience today, Reverend Alexander, Michelle, Ms. Rashida, all individuals who really contributed their time, their expertise, their wisdom to the development of this work. So Social Contract as a consulting firm has supported multiple jurisdictions in their design, implementation, and evaluation of violence reduction strategies. What's important to note is that as a firm, we do not go into a community and suggest that you should implement X program. We really work to understand the current state of the landscape, the assets that currently exist, what can be built upon, and where there are opportunities for growth. So we're very intentional about creating space to learn and design with the community. So if you take us to the next slide, we want to talk to you a little bit about the various phases of work. So when Social Contract first began its partnership with the city, county, and stakeholders, we spent time understanding the current landscape of violence reduction in Scranton and Lackawanna County. So our team engaged with over 40 stakeholders, in addition to those individuals working directly in the community across different sectors. We also had the privilege of engaging 24 young people through interviews, focus groups at the Scranton High School, at Mission Scranton, community-based organizations, and also young people who have been directly impacted by the juvenile justice system. So what we heard from those people throughout our stakeholder engagement was that Scranton already had so many strong programs and organizations that were doing great work in the community, but as our partners have shared tonight, what we learned and understood was that there isn't a lack of effort. There was just opportunity for more intentional coordination and a desire to have a plan for sustainable infrastructure. So at the onset of the initiative, the idea was that we could implement a program. But really what we heard from partners is that there are talented players on this team, but people are running in different directions, running different plays. And nationally, what we've seen as a trend is that there's a lot of opportunity to help bring people together operating from the same playbook. So we spent time based on the findings that we learned from our stakeholder engagement, establishing a planning committee of multi-sector stakeholders to develop that playbook. So we worked intentionally with partners to define what we mean by community violence, the values that would guide our work, the priorities that should be in place, and then also the governance structure that would move the work forward. So you all will receive a copy of what was established by our planning committee members titled Pathways to Safer Communities, where they outlined 4 priorities around building building collective impact infrastructure so that there is a clear governance structure, a backbone organization to really be the quarterback and support partners in working collaboratively and moving work forward, as well as priorities around investing in prevention efforts that reduce the likelihood of people ever engaging in violence, but very importantly, complementing the efforts of the local law enforcement partners and strengthening intervention programs that serve those at highest risk at violence. They're going to need unique services and support, so we want to make sure that we're prioritizing people coming together, prevention programs, intervention programs, and most importantly, ensuring accountability, shared accountability, because as Chief said, there's no one single program or organization that's going to be able to address violence in and of itself. So this idea of bringing partners together around a shared strategy creates an opportunity and starts to build the infrastructure to have stakeholders aligned together, maximizing and scaling programs that work, and working to fill gaps that exist, and identifying resources so that people who are doing the great work within the community can continue to do that at its highest potential. So the Planning Committee came together, they developed the Pathways to Safer Communities plan, and then we transitioned into an implementation phase. So as this governance structure was envisioned by partners, we wanted to have a quarterback who would be responsible for coordinating partners, moving the strategy forward, and making sure that we were all working towards shared goals. The governance structure to do that work, the partners throughout the engagement thought that it would be most valuable to have for lack of a better term, a neutral convener who could bring multi-sector stakeholders together. So a shared effort from government, a shared effort from community, law enforcement, health sector. So the ideas that surfaced from our partners was to establish a nonprofit organization that would be guided by a board of directors and would have a executive director that would support the execution of this Pathways to Safer Communities plan. So as we're in the implementation phase currently, our advisory board has identified potential board of directors and has had early engagement with these individuals to onboard them to their role. We will be working in partnership with the city, county, and stakeholders to incorporate this backbone organization, engage in short-term strategic planning, implementation planning with the board of directors so that they and their executive director will be well positioned to begin the execution and implementation of the Pathways to Safer Communities plan. And then also we'll work in partnership with the city and the county throughout this implementation phase on a strong focus on sustainability to ensure that this work is not just a one-time investment in the creation of an organization, but really developing a long-term strategy to sustain the work moving forward. So we're currently in this implementation phase, and then as our partner said, this group of stakeholders currently at the table from the city, the county, the school district, the police department meet on a bi-weekly basis to strategize and to guide the work as we move forward, and ultimately would be working in close partnership with the board of directors of this nonprofit organization as it's established. So high-level overview of effort that has been accomplished over the last few months together. We really want to end before we open up for conversation and discussion, emphasizing this focus on infrastructure and capacity and building a governance structure to support coordination. One of the trends that we've seen across the nation when we look at the field of community violence reduction is that investment in coordination and shared strategy and getting partners rowing in the same direction towards progress really is key. So when you do a scan of cities, regions who are addressing violence reduction, those who have real strong infrastructure are yielding strong results. So Allegheny County, I know it's a much larger region in comparison to the city of Scranton, but what's unique about the county is that they have a very robust strategy that involves identifying nonprofit community-based quarterbacks across different regions throughout the county who are responsible for being this kind of convener, backbone of violence reduction efforts in their communities, and really supporting and elevating the work of individuals on the ground. In Allegheny County, when you look at their homicide rates, they have reached an 18-year low after this really intensive investment in community violence reduction infrastructure. Very similar to other jurisdictions throughout the state. So Wilmington, Delaware, where we are from, there's also very intentional focus on community-based nonprofits serving as backbone organizations, working directly in partnership with community law enforcement on the implementation of violence reduction strategies, homicides at a 5-year low. And this idea of strong infrastructure is really seen across the nation. There's a real trend emerging in the field on this idea of building up the capacity for partners to work under a collective impact framework. Jurisdictions like Camden and Flint are really starting to work towards working in strong partnership with law enforcement, adopting a criminal justice approach and a public health approach to violence reduction. And Camden saw their first homicide-free summer in 50 years. And the homicide rates in Flint, while they historically have been much higher than the national average, have recently started to make investments in this type of infrastructure that we're talking about bringing to the city of Scranton and Lackawanna County. Conversely, when we look at jurisdictions with limited infrastructure who might have very limited strategies, sole strategies related to reduce violence, they tend to still struggle with this prevalence of community violence. So really underscores the impact, the value of all partners coming together in a unified front, working from a shared plan with shared language, a strategy for sustainability so that we're not investing in a one-time program, but really building a culture of commitment towards coming together to create pathways to safer communities.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Since you guys came together, what is our trend? No, like you guys been meeting for what, 4 years now? If you had to do a diagram like this with Scranton, what would our trend be right now? Are we seeing any trends, positive or negative?
I'll just clarify too, our work with with our partners launched in early 2024, but I will allow Chief Carroll to talk about the trends that we're seeing in the community.
Okay. Talking about homicide trends, like the slide here, is that what your question is?
Yeah, I mean, there's some saying that either reached an all-time low or 18-year low. Up at the top and the bottom, you see homicide rates are at 230% higher than national average. Where are we? Like, what's the trend for us?
To be understood there too is that we're just starting the implementation phase of this. So we were in the planning phase. We have a plan now. Now we're hiring for a director and a board of directors. So we don't know what the impacts of our work are just yet because it's just starting.
Yes, I just want to clarify that these statistics are for communities that are investing in plans, such as the violence reduction plan that the community in Scranton made.
So do you have statistics that you're going to compare in 2 years from that? And if you do have them, can we see them on the rates of homicides and crime in general?
Absolutely. That would be a return on investment, and we've actually been doing research on that as well to be able to compare what's currently happening in Scranton and then what will happen after this plan is implemented.
Okay. Would you be able to share what's currently happening in Scranton, that data that you have with us, so we can just have it?
I'll get that. The City of Scranton Police Department publishes our statistics monthly. They're NIBRS, National Incident-Based Reporting System. That goes to the state. It is full transparency. It's updated monthly. You could look at that anytime you would like, and you could also go back in time and compare that to other dates currently.
So right now, we're in data collection, right? Have you established a board of directors? Has the county, the city, and the school district identified who those individuals are going to be? Has that board sat and they've done data collection, or the data collection piece or phase is where we're at right now? Where are we in this phase?
Yeah, that's we have worked with partners to establish this violence reduction plan. As we shared, one of the priorities within the violence reduction plan is around this theme of accountability. So when we work in a collective impact framework, people measure things differently. So the school district may measure impact one way, the police department may measure impact one way, and the idea of developing this nonprofit organization is to be the lead in developing the evaluation framework. How are we measuring change? So that there is an ability, as this infrastructure is being built, to be able to say, these are our trends over the last 5 years as we've made this investment in violence reduction. So one of the core functions of this organization that is being created would to take ownership over the accountability of violence reduction efforts. So we, to answer your question, have worked with the advisory board to identify nominees for the board of directors, some including those from higher ed with a background in research evaluation and expertise in violence reduction. So we're currently engaging in outreach with those individuals. Once the board of director slate is finalized, we would be happy to share that information with you all.
Just one comment, please. I don't want to mislead you, nor do I want you to go down and wait for statistics. Statistics are not the end-all. Statistics are what has happened and we captured. What we want to do is interrupt the cycle of violence, those on the pathway to violence. They may never hit one of our statistics. We prevent it from occurring as a group to begin with. So don't get over-reliant upon criminal statistics to look for the success based on this mission.
And I think that's a good segue into the question I had, and sorry to call you under the carpet, Mrs. Hemphill, but I think that a big part of this should be around the school districts and being proactive and preventative in this youth violence initiative, especially with the younger generations, is meeting them where they're at and they're in the schools, especially at the younger age, before they potentially go down that path. I appreciate what everyone's doing around the efficiency of services and the nonprofits figuring out one needs to know what the other hand is doing so we could get those resources in the best way. But I think a very important part of this is in the schools. And so I just want to get your perspective on this entire process so far and how you feel about it.
Sure, agreed. Thank you for asking. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about my experience here. I want to first say thank you to the city, to the county, to Social Contract for asking us to be involved and for giving us a voice at the table, because I agree. I think it obviously impacts us and our students to such a high degree. So while we are working internally to build our own supports within the school district so we can do day-to-day and in the after-school, what we were realizing is that so many of us are operating in a silo. And so we're all doing the same work, but we're doing it over here, Chief is doing it over there. You know, my day today, I ended my day on the phone with someone from SPD, someone from Office of Youth and Family Service, you know, someone from the DA's office. So we're all doing that work, but we were all doing it in our own way. And so it's, for me, been very unique about this year-long experience is having us each come to the table knowing I have my task. You're right. I have to do what I need to do for the school district, for my students who I need to be protecting, but yet Chief has his interests and the county has theirs. And so this was, again, to use the word a little skeptical coming in that we're all just going to sit at a table and kind of fight for our piece of what we need here. And very quickly, Social Contract helped us to come together, find some common goals, and then talk about, are your goals common enough? Let's refine that further. Let's talk about that further. You know, we had an experience with 40 community partners where we talked about, some of you said this would be a goal for this project. Some of you said this. We need to literally move to a side of the room where you agree with and then have dialogue. What do you want this to look like? Because we have to, in order to solve a problem, you have to effectively identify the problem. And so we spent a good deal of time identifying and exploring what this would really look for, which isn't always historically how committees like this work. People want action, and so often you do action without a lot of the thought and the prep work. And this has felt very different for me in terms of doing lots of communication, talking, refining, are we sure, coming back to the table and saying we thought that might work and it seems like that's not a good idea, let's try again. So I think that all of us here and all of the entities that you see represented up there, we intersect all the time, daily, weekly, monthly, and this was a way to take a higher level view of that and have someone having some oversight so that all of our entities are working in the same direction. It's new. I have not seen this done before, so I don't know. Social Contract has shown us some very impressive work from other places in the country that have already done it. So I think it was a little bit reassuring to think that maybe we didn't need to invent our own wheel, but we could look to see some guidance from other places and see how that worked. And I'm hopeful and optimistic that we might see some of the same change come here.
So some of that, with some of the problem identification, has the problem identification happened first, or you're reaching out to nonprofits and you're trying to identify who's going to be the board of directors? Once that group gets together, then you're going to identify problems, or the problems have been identified, now we're looking to seat those boards of directors and get that plan, and then at that point in time, a plan is going to be presented that we'll have to invest in, whether we're going to implement that plan or not?
So, so we did do a landscape analysis and an ecosystem report so that we could see what was currently going on in Scranton, and we could identify if there were gaps, but also not just identifying gaps, identifying what the community needs. So that's why we brought in the people who are doing the work. And so what I think we can say is that there was a lot of work being done in Scranton, but it wasn't being done in a collaborative way or a coordinated way or a purposeful way. So now what we've done is we've gathered all of these stakeholders together that have a real commitment to doing this work. And when they come together around the same table, and I know, Chief, you said that this was the first time that some of those people have even been at the same table. So when you come around to the same table and you're able to put your heads together and identify problems together and identify what the problems are, then you can go ahead and recommend a solution. But to get to that, we had to do, we did focus groups, we did meetings, we did different activities to pull out that information of what exactly was going on in the city of Scranton.
From your other examples, your other clients that you have, what is, I guess, the timeline? Like, how long does it normally take your project from starting with the data gathering into the implementation stage?
Yeah, every partner that we work with is unique. People are, operating from different levels of infrastructure capacity, trust, willingness to work together. We have, observed communities across the nation who have taken years to work on alignment, identifying the right strategy that fits the context of their community, getting to implementation. We have partners who are able to come together very quickly within months and say, this is how we want to work together and this is what we need. So I think that, the timeline varies. The work that we have seen in Scranton, we've been really inspired by partners so quickly willing to come together around the table and have this unified commitment across government to be aligned on these efforts. So I'm really inspired by the future as there is clear leadership to support partners in moving the work forward. One thing I will name is that in the development of the Pathway to Safer Communities plan, we also outlined under each of these priority areas clear strategies and activities that this nonprofit organization and stakeholders would be working together to address. So we might have partners like those in the school district who would implement new programming for youth to address issues of like gender or norms that contribute to violence. We might have partners within the city or county who are able to think about crime prevention through environmental design and addressing vacant and blighted properties and greening programs. So there's a role for all partners across the work, and in the violence reduction plan, you will see that there are clear pathways for action and goals to be accomplished. This backbone organization really is, again, like that quarterback, assigning out the roles to players, making sure that they have the tools that they need to be successful so that everyone's able to work within their respective swim lanes, but working towards the same direction, which is building these pathways to safer communities.
I'd like to say something. So first of all, thanks for coming, and I appreciate the shared effort of all of you, but to be, with all due respect, I had to request this caucus. I had to, first of all, speak to it in fifth order, where we commonly request information, because we never got any. Secondly, this is, we voted on this contract, the shared contract, in '24 with the county. We got some information back from the city when my initial inquiries, that you meet bi-weekly with the district, which is fantastic. I understand, intervention. I understand identifying behaviors that you could curb before they come into the criminal pathway. We understand all that, but I had to ask for you guys to come to present. And you speak of quarterbacks and players, and I think the public needs to know, because they're asking us, what's going on with that contract? And this is the seat we sit in. And I think the public needs to know, if you had a touchdown with that quarterback, did you win a couple games? We need to be briefed and updated. I know you're providing a quick synopsis, and I get that. I'm looking at the phase. We've gone through this data collection before with multiple consultants through the city, and it always takes longer than we feel it should, or some people, but the public needs to know there's some type of progress going on. I wasn't aware of everything you mentioned briefly tonight, and if I wasn't aware of everything, the public that's, they're paying the bill for this needs to know more. So if you're meeting bi-weekly, fantastic. If you're accomplishing phases and moving forward, fantastic. But guess who needs to know? We do, and so does everybody out there. And we shouldn't have to ask after 2 years to actually come in and bring us up to speed. I'd appreciate if you would do that more often without us having to request it. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate your feedback. Valid comment, and in collective impact work, continuous communication is really key. So I appreciate you naming that. A part of the work that we've been doing together is having open and honest conversation. So we accept that feedback, and as we're building out this backbone organization, that's really its role. You want to have an entity that is not just responsible for aligning partners, but to your point, raising awareness of the work that's happening, that's actively engaging with partners. So I do appreciate you naming that, Councilman, and that's feedback that we'll certainly discuss in our advisory board meetings. But I do believe Commissioner Welby, did you want to make a comment?
You did pretty much address it, but Councilman, you and all members raised valid points, and particularly communication. And we do need communication. And we all agree, I believe, in this room, and everyone that's in this room also agrees that something like this is fluid. It's something that as things go on, we will address things, and there will be things we're not aware of. Not unlike the business that you deal with every week here. There are things that come up and you deal with them, but it's like a pothole. You can fix the pothole, and you don't know where the next one's going to come up, but you know it's going to come up, and you also know that you're going to deal with it, and you're going to take care of it. And I think this group and everyone in this room feels the same way. we're going to work together and try to deal with proactively the issues that our community faces and might also face in the future, and try to be proactive about it, but also be able to pivot, but also perhaps equally or more important is to communicate and to let everybody know, not just you all, but to the county people over in the county as well, and to the public, to share with them things that are going, and let them contribute at a greater level than they are. And that's important to everyone, too, that we hear some different things that we otherwise might not have. But thank you for that.
So at this point, you completed a landscape analysis, you've done some data collection, you're identifying individuals that would be on the board of directors, you're identifying problems and reaching out to the school district, the county, you're speaking with the police department, bless you. What are the next steps? Is the next steps that you're going to seat a board of directors?
That is correct. So our partners have finalized this Pathways to Safer Communities Violence Intervention and Prevention Plan, which outlines the priority strategies and activities that would be executed by this organization and community stakeholders. We will incorporate the nonprofit organization. We will seat a board of directors, and then our firm and the advisory board would work in partnership to really support and transition the role that we've played over this last year in this planning and design phase to this board of directors that would be coming in to provide oversight of the nonprofit organization. We would be supporting that board of directors and their search for an executive director, and again, supporting the city and the county in the development of fundraising and sustainability strategy to carry the work forward.
Okay, so the plan is developed, and that plan is the roadmap for this board of directors to carry out. Okay, that's more clear. The end goal here is to develop a sustainable plan. So what's your definition of a sustainable plan that you're going to hand over to the city and then, or to this actual nonprofit group that's going to work in combination with the city? What does that sustainable plan look like?
Yeah,
what constitutes a sustainable plan?
Yeah, that's a great question. When we're thinking about collective impact, it's really the culture that they're creating, having a core group of stakeholders are coming together around the table over the long term. Sustainability always comes down to funding and resources. So we know that there's been a one-time investment through ARPA funds. This nonprofit organization, one of their key responsibilities would be to identify and secure additional resources. So leveraging partnerships with the philanthropic community, the business community, and other government-based resources. So we do want to ensure that there are the resources available to support the work and the long-term commitment of partners as well.
I think that's also another great question about sustainability, and I think that's why we took our time with the project, because we really took the time to talk to each stakeholder, and investing in the city with the city and the county coming together, and also the school district. It was a great collaborative effort, and that takes time. And so once you know where you want to go, that's when you can start planning. And so that's why the plan also was carefully initiated so that it could really grow legs and start running.
I'm sorry, did you say the estimated implementation date? Do you know when that's going to be? Like, when should we anticipate it rolling out?
So right now, our next step is to seat the board and to incorporate the nonprofit. And so with that, we're going to follow the routine process of incorporating and getting a board, which involves background checks. So we're in the process of that right now. But I'm hoping in the next couple weeks, but it depends on, getting those background checks back. We already have yes from about 14 board members, so it just depends on us going through that process.
And how many board members are you having total that you select?
We threw it out to 15 people.
Okay. Thank you.
That was collaboratively selected by the community that was involved, the stakeholders that were involved, the police department, and the school district, the city, and the county.
So you're saying that that's how the board members were chosen? That process, or how they're going to be chosen?
They've already been.
And what was that process like?
It was for the people that were involved, the people who are doing the work, and also interest. It's a lot to take on, and also a lot of people are doing direct service. A lot of people are doing, some of them were teachers that we asked, and they don't exactly have the capacity. So really, we just took the lead from the community themselves and having them identify. The advisory board helped assist in identifying people from the school district and the city and different people that were involved in the process. We have some of them here tonight that have accepted for the board of directors, but it's a combination of people doing the work, people who are involved, and people who also we reached out to that we think would have great expertise in a cross-sector way.
Okay, thank you.
Any other members have any questions?
Oh, thank you so much for coming. It's very informative.
Thank you.
So my last thing is going to be to Chief Carroll. After what we've just heard, how do you plan to implement this through the police department for the city?
I think we need to clear up a conception or perception is there's no one plan that's going to be handed and say we go with this. The police department will continue its efforts in building trust in our community, our youth programs, our community policing, and service to our citizens, period. We stay in our lane and we support what's happening. I think a misconception nationally is that the police department owns the majority of this problem, when in all actuality, the police department's role is one fraction of what the community is and what it takes from the community to affect change. I may not even see change before I move on, I retire. When we see positive change, and what does that look like tangibly, we're not sure exactly how that looks. What I can tell you is that we've never had this focus of effort towards violence prevention ever. And when we haven't had it, and we weren't talking, and we were siloed, we saw the negative results of that. Anything we do with this group moving forward is a positive step in the right direction. And again, if it helps one person, it's worth it. Are we able to, in the end, tangibly put it on a chart and say, here's the scoreboard? No. We might have positive impact in people's lives that we never know about. That's the key to this, and that's the part to understand. It will never come back to police statistics. I can't say for a fact that us focusing on youth or any other dimension in Scranton is going to solve our problem. When crime is transient, the people are transient in our communities, and there's a lot of different impacts and effects. And they change. That's the other thing. The impacts we have now might not be the same we have 5 years from now. And this organization needs to be able to adjust and adapt and redirect itself, just like any other organization. But collectively, we identify it, and collectively, we work together. That's the key to success.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions from council?
No, thank you.
No. Thank you for coming tonight. We'll end this meeting. We'll come back at 6:50 for our regular city council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.